my life has intersected with theirs many times through the years. I've known Bill, I guess, since the mid-'70s sometime, and have known many of the guys in the group. And it's been a lot of guys in the group through the years, Bill. And they're all going to speak tonight, right? No, just kidding. But it's pretty exciting what Bill did. And that 25 years into the business, he formed a new band. The Gaither Vocal Band started in 1981. They've released 34 albums through the years, won multiple Grammys, multiple Doves. You know, and touched lives around the world. I've got a couple stories that I wanted to share with you. And, you know, some of you may remember there was a time when playing in a rock and roll band and singing about Jesus, with some wasn't so popular. You know, there was a time when it was pretty controversial.
We're going to be there for until.
And it was first in 1979 when Bill reached out to me when my band was on tour with Amy Grant.
Yeah, we'll probably go crazy.
That was a strange idea.
No,
but
we just blow up stuff, that's all. We'll do like the Kiss.
Bill reached out to me and befriended me. And about 10 years after that, in the late 80s, he and the vocal band and the trio actually were in Memphis, in my hometown, playing at one of the big Baptist churches there. And there was a very renowned speaker, very good man named Dr. Adrian Rogers, which sometimes could stand on the critical side of Christian rock music. Sometimes.
When do you think this
was the pastor. Bill calls me in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock, and I happened to be home, and he said, Eddie, he said, can you come over to the church and have dinner with us? I said, sure. So I, you know, in those days I was young and beautiful, and put on my best rock clothes and went to Bellevue Baptist. Somebody met me at the door, escorted me down to the hallway, and I walked into an office with two people. It was Dr. Adrian Rogers and Bill Gaither. And Bill said, Adrian, this is Eddie DeGarmo. Eddie, this is Dr. Rogers. I think you guys have some things to talk about. And in Bill Gaither fashion, he turned and walked out of the room. And Dr. Rogers and I spent the next 30 or 40 minutes together just getting to know each other, and it was wonderful. So you've been a bridge builder for so many of us through the years. I thank you for that. Let's take a look through some of the history of the video.
Well satisfied.
The 32-year legacy of the Gaither Vocal Band first began spontaneously around a piano in Jacksonville, Florida back in 1981. On a January afternoon before a Bill Gaither Trio concert at the Jacksonville Coliseum, Bill gathered 3 men backstage, fellow trio member Gary McSpadden and backup singers Steve Green and Lee Young, to harmonize around the piano. They revisited classic quartet favorites that first made Bill fall in love with gospel music, and their sound surprised even them. That very night, Bill surprised the audience with an impromptu performance of Your First Day in Heaven, and the crowd went wild. Night after night, their energetic delivery and seamless male harmony became a highlight of the evening. So, they kept singing. Now, more than 32 years later, the award-winning Gaither Vocal Band is known and loved by audiences around the world. The group has recorded more than 400 stellar songs, received 17 GMA Dove Awards and 2 Grammy Awards, and headlined one of the largest and longest-running concert tours in the history of Christian music. They have packed out world-renowned venues such as Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, and the Sydney Opera House. and have crossed the globe to reach people in England, Germany, Brazil, South Africa, Israel, Ireland, Norway, and Australia. Every week, the Gaither Vocal Band is featured on a wide variety of television networks across North America and beyond, making them a household name in many segments of society. The list of artists who have comprised the Gaither Vocal Band over the years reads like a who's who in contemporary Christian music, including Gary McSpadden, Steve Green, Lee Young, John Moore, Larnell Harris, Michael English, Mark Lowry, Buddy Mullins, Jim Murray, Jonathan Pierce, Terry Franklin, Russ Taff, Guy Penrod, and Marshall Hall. And the current members, David Phelps, Wes Hampton, Adam Crabb, and Todd Suttles, with Bill Gaither always at the helm. The worldwide success of the Gaither Vocal Band has far exceeded Bill's wildest expectations. And though the years have brought changes in style and personnel, some things remain constant. Intricate harmonies, meaningful songs, high vocal standards, innovative arrangements, and a genuine passion for the life-altering message of the gospel.
Tonight, we're gonna walk and talk all the way to glory. Gonna walk and tell the blessed old story.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage the members of the Gaither Vocal Band who could join us tonight. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Gospel Music Association Foundation, it is my honor to induct the Gaither Vocal Band into the GMA Hall of Fame. I talk.
You are looking at the oldest teenager in America right here, I gotta tell you. To do what you love to do for as long as I have done it, the good Lord must really be smart. And it all started with me first hearing four-part harmony, and then I thought I'd really heard harmony, and then I remember the day out of the Take Six house, listening to them, and woodshedding a section of a song saying, finally, where's the one? Let's go back to just the one chord and find out where we are. It's so good to hear them again tonight. And before I get to the group, let me say this. This is a this has been a very special evening for Gloria and me. This is, the spirit of this thing tonight is beautiful. The whole living outward and thinking outward affirms something that Gloria and I have thought for a long, long time, that this is more than music. And when people ask me to identify what we do, I say, you know, it's music, and it's music of all different kinds of styles. And it has a specific message, but to see this art and hear this articulated tonight by so many of the people, hear things like washing feet, not a bad idea, isn't it? And to remember where I was, Michael, when I heard that the death. I was in Des Moines, Iowa, at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium. And I'll never forget Mark coming and telling me that he passed away. And to hear those songs again, and hear us, and hearing the dancing that went on with Amy and what's his name, and Brown engineered the first vocal band record, and Chris Christian is here tonight, and he produced the first vocal band record. And to know that we do have some folks in our field that smoke. Gives you hope that maybe he can use me, But it's been great, and I'm not here by myself. I mean, I told Glory the other day, I said, honey, did you imagine in your wildest dreams that we'd ever be able to do all the things that we've been able to do? To which she said, honey, you were never in my wildest dreams. I was a strange kid in the 6th grade. I used to play tunes on my teeth. This is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 4, this is a 5, this is a 5 sharp. They didn't get that in Des Moines. This is a 6, this is a 7. Then I heard harmony. I heard the triad. This is a 1, this is a 3, this is a 5. And some of these new kids are trying to change the triad. They're trying to take out the 3. It's 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5 does not make a triad, kids. One, 3, then we're at home. And I thought I was cool until I heard take 6, and they'd go 1, 3, 5, 7, 5, and then they do a 2. I remember what I was wearing the first day I heard those chords. Wasn't very cool. I've never been cool. I wasn't very cool. But I said, I want to do that. And I must be the fastest talker in the world to be able to have persuaded this kind of talent again and again. And some of them left and they came back. Mark has left 3 times and come back. He's like warts. I can't get rid of him. He leaves and he comes back. Mark's not here. He's coming back. Okay. Only God and Ernest Angley know where Mark is tonight. I don't know where he is. But for me to do what I have done, what was it, Eddie, for the last 25, 30 years? By the way, you forgot the whole thing with Dr. What's his name? What? Dr. Rogers, yeah. When he came in, I said, Eddie, because they're going to introduce them and see if they could get along together. I said, you'd help me a whole lot if we could take you by the barber shop first and take a couple of those earrings out of your ear, and then we can make this thing work. That part you forgot. I'm not even sure why I brought that up, but when I look back there at these guys and the amount of time that we have spent on the road telling folks about Jesus and having a lot of fun in the process, and the reporters when they would ask me, why do you do it? It's very clear. I do it for the same reason I did from the very beginning. There was something about the art form that attracted my attention. Something about the harmony. There was something about, and it kind of forced people together. And secondly, I love the message. And you were right earlier about the comments that come back. The word that Gloria and I have heard more than anything else in our 50, how long, 51, 52, 51, seemed like 52, no, years of marriage, has been the word through. They will say, thank you for your music. A lot of them say it didn't change anything necessarily, but it got us through a very difficult time. And for you writers, that word will come back to you again and again. So Gary, why don't you come up? Gary was the first. Gary was with the trio, and then Steve was in the group. Where's Lee? Big Lee, come here, Lee. And he served several purposes: bass, bodyguard.
Yeah, right.
What do you say?
Yes, right.
Right. Good. Don't you lower your voice.
Yeah, the other bass said he had some water weight. Mine was biscuits and gravy.
And then the personnel changed from time to time. Larnell came. What a wonderful addition. Guy, I don't know how many years you were there. David has been a rock. Buddy Mullins and Wes. What's the guy's? Oh, Russ. Yeah, Russ Stafford. You were at another thing earlier, a paying gig earlier. I'm glad you finally got here. Marshall Hall, who serves with David Jeremiah out in San Diego, and Jimmy Murray was in the Imperials. I don't know for how long. Made that beautiful tenor sound with the Imperials all those years. Russ was there with the Imperials. Joe Miscale's here tonight. We owe a lot to the Imperials and to the Statesmen and the early groups that came along before us. Now, is there anything that, and Eddie, you were not with our group, okay, but anybody else want to say something here?
This is a 7-5.
Bill knows how I feel about the two of these folks. And I would say that in our generation, that there has been no one who has affected Christian music more than Bill and Gloria Gaither. And it has been a joy and a privilege for me, for my wife Carol, to not only have been associated with them for those 11 years, but to have them as friends. And I think there are hundreds of people in this room who feel exactly the same way that I feel about Bill and Gloria Gaither. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Gloria, for helping us talk about Jesus.
Congratulations to our 2014 inductees to the GMA Hall of Fame and to the recipients.